Good morning. So you are welcome to Seat of Wisdom SOWTtv. Welcome to Seat of Wisdom SOWTtv. So as you all know that my name is Joshua Oluwafemi Olumoti. So today we are considering the subject chemistry. Chemistry as a subject, and we are looking at this topic: separation techniques. What are the separation? What are the techniques? What are the things? What are the ideas? What are the methods that we can use to separate some constituents, some elements that mix together? So, we know that we have constituents, we have compound, we have mixture. So when we now have some mixture that has been, some constituents, some elements that has been mixed together, how can we separate them? This is what brought this topic, separation techniques. As we all know that in every day of our life, we are practicing what we call chemistry. So the first thing that we have here is sieving. Sieving. If you look at it, sieving, we are doing that sieving at home, in industry, let me say sieving is what we are applying to our daily activities, either in the kitchen, in industry. When we are talking about sieving, sieving is divine. When we have two different particles of different size, this is what we define as about two different particles of different size. By the time, with the use of mesh, by the time you use this mesh, the one that is what? That is smaller will get down, while this one that is bigger will get up. For instance, now when we have the mixture of chalk and sand, chalk will pass through the mesh, that is the porous material, and the sand will stay at the top. And the number two separation techniques we have on board is magnetic separation. This magnetic separation is what we use to separate magnetic substances from non-magnetic substances. It is used in the purification of tin oil in industry, the oil of tin in industry. This technique is used to purify some magnetic substances like tin in industry. And we have what we call sublimation. Yes, sublimation. Sublimation is another separation technique that we apply to some materials like iodine, some elements like iodine, like ammonium salts, ammonium salts, that we apply to them that can easily sublime without attaining the liquid state. So when we're talking about sublimation is just a transferring or a change of an element or a compound from solid state direct to gaseous state without attaining or undergoes any liquid state. So this is also used to separate some elements or some compound from each other. And then we have what we call decantation. So decant. This decantation is a mixture of liquid and solid. Yes, liquid and solid of distinct layer. So when this, before we can decant, the liquid will stay at the top while the solid will settle down. So we now have a two distinct layers. So for us to separate such a mixture, we now decant. Decantation is just to pour out the watery part or the liquid part of it, and it will remain the solid part. For instance, now you put what's it called, like your semovita or your gari inside water. You have soaked it inside water. By the time you soak such a thing inside water, like semovita or your cornflakes, now by the time the cornflakes now settle down, you can be able to separate the cornflakes from the water. You can pour out the water. That is what we call decantation. Then we go by filtration. Filtration is the separation of solid from liquid also, but it takes another dimension. When we're talking about separation, before we can do this separation, we need three things. The first thing is that you can use filter paper. Then this will look like this. The filter paper will be here. and then we have a beaker here. So having this beaker here, filter paper is here. So the one that the filter paper retain is what we call the residue. So the one that is able to pass through the filter paper is what we call the filtrate. So filtration is used to separate a residue from the filtrate. We can use, for example, now the suspension of chalk. When you pour chalk, the suspension of chalk inside water, you can use that filtration method to separate the chalk suspension from the liquid. Another thing is centrifugation. This is a method that is used to separate some material in industry by the use of centrifugal machine. You know, when we're talking about centrifugation, is like to bring out, to take outside. So, but centrifugation is a process of separating some material in test tube by spinning with high speed of movement. It will spine those that they are of high suspension outside and retain those that of what? Small suspension within. And we have another one, evaporation to dryness. When it comes to evaporation to dryness, two things are happening. This is a separation between solutes and solvents. You know, solute plus solvent will give us what? Solution. Solute plus solvent will give us solution. So when we are talking about evaporation to dryness, is to extract, is to siphon solute from our solution. By the time you have salt plus water, we have our solution. So for us to get back our salt is standing for solute, that is the solid part, while the water is serving as solvent. And then we have now everything as the salt has been dissolved in water and it has formed solution. How do we want to bring out our salt? How do we want to extract our salt? We can apply this separation technique called evaporation to dryness. You just subject it to heat and the solvent will evaporate and it will remain the solute part of it. Another one is crystallization. Yes, when we are talking about crystallization, is when it is actually dealing with some salts that are easily decomposed. It's actually dealing with some salts that can easily decompose. So, example is copper 2 tetrasulfate 6, and we have copper 2 triazonitrate 5, and we still have iron 2 triazonitrate 6. So all these salts are easily decomposed under heating. So we can separate them through this separation technique called crystallization. And we still have precipitation. Yes, precipitation is dealing in the sense that when we have two miscible liquid together, and we still have another solute. So for us to get the solute out of that two miscible liquid, we need to apply what we call precipitation. For instance, now you have a solid part inside a mixable of kerosene and water. You know, these two things, before we can get that out, we need for us to apply what we call precipitation. And we still have another one is distillation. So distillation is just a process of getting pure solvent from solutes. It's just the opposite. Distillation is just like an opposite of evaporation to dryness. By the time you have get to know what we define or what we are calling evaporation to dryness, you should be able to get this as well. Because when we're talking about evaporation to dryness, is to remove solutes from solution. Likewise, when we are talking about distillation is to remove solvent from solution. I believe you get it right like that. Evaporation to dryness is to do what? To remove solute from solution, to extract solute from solution. Likewise, Distillation is to extract, to siphon solvents, pure solvents from solution. And then we have what we call fractional distillation. This is applicable in industry, in what's it called, the petroleum industry, where we are extracting our gasoline, our petrol, our kerosene, diesels, and the like. This fractional distillation is dealing with temperature, the temperature at which each fractions operate. The boiling point of petrol is different from the boiling point of kerosene. So for all you, and you can get that all these things, they are solvents, they are fluid, they are liquid. So for us to get it, there is a need for us to know the boiling point or the temperature of kerosene is 35 degrees. The temperature of petrol is 40 degrees. So this thing will now come, we call it descending order. Descending order or ascending order, that is in a column, and it will get to its own different fraction. So it is typically used in petroleum industry. And then we have what we call separating funnel. So separating funnel is when we have two mixable liquid, like water and kerosene is two non-polar solvents. So by the time you mix water and kerosene, you will see water, your gasoline and water, you will still see the traces of water and gasoline. Gasoline will be at upper part, while water will settle down. You now have another solute inside it. To get all these things, the first thing is what? To use what we call separating funnel. So the last one we have on the board is what we call chromatography. Chromatography is a wide separation technique that we have different types of chromatography. We have the paper type, we have the color type, we have the accent, we have this chromatography, but the major use is to separate colors, different colors, ink, and the likes. So I believe with this little explanation of mine, you are able to get one or two things from this tutorial. So don't forget to like, to share, subscribe, comment, and share with your people. Thanks for watching Seeds of Wisdom Tutor TV. See you next time.